Hey, future Gabe. Today has not been a stellar day in my life. So guess we'll take off the hat. Actually, no, maybe we should put it back on. But you know what? Just for the video purposes, I know you probably like to see something like this probably in the future whenever you're watching this. But it hasn't been a good day. It's January 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. It's Friday, January 22nd. Thankfully, the end of my work week, and thankfully, I haven't gotten any calls from Fernando nagging me about working Saturday because that's not going to happen out of my own volition. But the story this week has been work still sucking, and I figure with the 2 week quarantine, quote unquote, I would come back with a lot more energy and a lot more tolerance to dealing with the kind of BS I'm dealing with this month. But nope, still the same level of BS of, hey, there was somebody here last week, whatever, and this and that. I mean, I'm kind of getting tired of it. On top of that, the cold is probably making this a lot worse, where, you know, being out there for so long just with nothing to do, and then just fucking shiver and talk to people and only to have them slam the door in your face. It's pretty demoralizing, you know? Getting yelled at is bad enough, but getting yelled at in sub-zero temperatures, that might be a little bit worse. It's not exactly sub-zero, but it definitely is freezing, I'll say that much. And I was expressing this to Evan and Will especially. I basically told Will that if next month doesn't improve, I think I'm out of here. The thing is that since the end of November, all I've been saying to myself is, okay, I'll wait for next fiscal month, then it'll be better, right? I did that in late November, and then December came along, and that was total garbage. And in like the middle of that month, around December 15th ish, I was telling myself, okay, wait until fiscal January. It'll get better then. And then we go to fiscal January, and within the very first week, when I notice dealing with, excuse me, I say, man, I can't wait for next fiscal. And now we're going into fiscal February. It's my first month here was actually fiscal February 2020, but funny how that works. And I'm actually going back to the same node I worked then. Back then I worked the M node, which is Ridgewood, kind of Glendale-ish, and that's where we're going right now, apparently. But the problem is that I have Andre, I have decent turf, and it's starting to warm up, hopefully, in February. So, the cards are all lined up in my favor. So if I have a bad month then, I mean, the way I'm going to interpret that is, you know what, I lost my magic, I lost my touch, and clearly this isn't working out, and I think then, if I don't leave, I'm seriously to blame for that, my lack of inaction. My lack of inaction. My lack of action, or my inaction. Thinking out loud about this, I'm starting to think that I don't like to fail, and I think my brain is interpreting this, my ego is interpreting this as it's interpreting me leaving my job or me quitting my job as failing at something. Like, oh, you can't sell, or oh, you can't handle the heat. They put your face to the heat and you can't handle it, so you back out, whatever. But the truth is, I mean, the entire office is struggling. And in a way, that is consolation, knowing that I'm not the only one that's struggling out there. But realistically, for a company like Spectrum, you're paid to remind people that it exists. Basically, that's your job. And regardless of whether or not you make that sale, well, actually, if you make that sale, you get way less money than the company makes from that sale. Because if you're selling somebody something for like $135, like a full box and everything, Spectrum makes $135 from that person in a month, and over a year, over just 10 months, that's $1,300. And what do they pay you for that? Like around like $180, and that's not even counting if you get like a full gold package, your router rental, 5 boxes, DVR, and whatever. It doesn't scale with what kind of package they get. So internet is always 60, internet and phone is something like 75 or 90, depending on the tier. And the triple play is like, it's probably the biggest payout, and I hope it would be since TV is dying out, but it's still not enough, honestly. It's shrunk out a lot. And the thing that pissed me off the most about this new commission plan is the fact that they kind of downplayed the internet and phone, which is my bread and butter, because honestly, a lot of people don't like cable, and I'm not going to sell you cable if you don't want cable. I'm not going to BS about how, in order to waive the $100 installation fee that definitely exists. You have to have a triple play. I'm not gonna do that to people. I'm gonna go for low, like off the radar scams, off the grid scams, whatever. Little $10, this and that. That's how I'm gonna do it. But yeah, this was a long day. Yesterday wasn't too bad since I got to this new turf and I was pretty happy with it. But then I realized that it's not looking good. It is not looking good. I got to the turf yesterday and I saw the look of the houses and I figured, great, this is just like Jamaica, but the worst house right there. Apologize for the yawning. I'm probably gonna go to sleep as soon as I walk in that door after I feed my cat, of course. But yeah, I'd say I'm in a pretty good place turf-wise right now, and I still can't sell anything, and that's really discouraging. But we'll see what happens. Had a little bit of a cheap meal today. I'm not sure if you see the... Of course you can't see it. Now maybe you can see it. There's a...